Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to share with you how I've been using Rome Research for taking lecture notes in particular, something that I thought that would be extremely helpful for college students and just note takers in general. Rome Research, as I've said in a bunch of my previous videos, is an absolutely fantastic tool. And to realize the power of Rome Research, one really has to get their hands dirty with how Rome really works and what functionalities are really useful. Because at the surface, one might think that Rome Research is just another note-taking tool, but the way it actually transforms the way you work, the way you consume information, and the way you write and produce and just connect a lot of dots in your brain is absolutely fantastic and something worth going into. So in this video, I want to share with you how I've been taking lecture notes for one class on corporate finance for MBA students by Ashwath Damodaran. And Ashwath Damodaran is an absolutely fantastic professor at NYU who teaches valuation, and the first class before valuation is the corporate finance class. And because I have been interested in these kinds of topics, I have been taking this class just by watching his YouTube videos and going through his lecture slides and lecture notes. In this video, I have actually taken notes on 4 of his lectures, which are session 1, session 2, session 3, and session 4. Now, a lot of these notes, as you would see, are pretty rough. They're not very well fleshed out, and they're actually half-baked in many instances. That's on purpose. The reason is because when you actually half-bake your notes, and when you just have cues or starting points for a bunch of various concepts, ideas, or things that you would recall just by those cues, that's more than enough of a note and a mental note and a mental sort of real estate in your brain for a long amount of time. The problem comes in leveraging that mental real estate, because let's say if I create a bunch of notes in my brain, so you can see most of this text is actually not that well fleshed out, and that's on purpose. But the point is that by leveraging Rome's bidirectional feature, which is the key feature which allows you to literally look at a bunch of notes that you have taken and a bunch of bidirectional links that you have created and actually have a bird's eye view on everything that you have ever recorded about that topic in one place, that is when you are actually leveraging the power of the mental note that you create in your brain. And that is why it's extremely useful. So the first session actually starts off with Damodaran just saying that, corporate finance, he was trying to get his class reviewed and so on and so forth. And to get past the bureaucracy, he says that the best way to get something done is to get it done subversively. And that his valuation class, in fact, emerged out of 22 years after he had taught, because the authorities actually thought that he was teaching something else, but in reality, he was teaching valuation. So that is a bidirectional link. And obviously, I don't think I have many other bidirectional links associated with that topic, or let's see, maybe I do. No, it's actually just one. But you see how I just pressed Shift and clicked on that to actually open all the references to this bidirectional link. And now I'm just gonna let that be over here. Let me go into some other areas. So I have created links for all these things. Let's see what's there for SoftBank. All right, for SoftBank, I want to see what are the references. So I have 3 references for SoftBank that are actually meaningful. And one is from session 2 are from session 3 and one is from session 1. But you see, this is the value of Rome Research. Now, if ever I'm going back into my notes and trying to review anything about SoftBank, well, I have it all in one place. I know that SoftBank valued WeWork at $47 billion. Later actually ended up buying WeWork for $8 billion. So that's one piece of information. And then I also noticed that Elliott Group had acquired a stake in SoftBank and noted a few of Ashwath Damodaran's comments. And Now, I also know that SoftBank trades at 60% of its book value now. And what's book value? Book value is something that I had also recorded at a different stage. So I'm not going to go deep into that, but I could just by clicking shift and click on that. So you see, that's literally the entire value of this entire note-taking system. And by leveraging Rome's bidirectional links, you can actually do a lot more than just take notes. You can see that most of these notes are actually just half-baked, or they are just sentences or stuff that Damodaran has spoken in the class. But even though that is the case, just because I have created many bidirectional links, I can quickly reference them in many places and have a look at the information that I've collected from all the different sources in one place, and that is why it's extremely valuable. So yeah, this was the essence, this was the main slide that Damodaran keeps on talking about, which is that all corporate finance decisions are based on an investment principle, a financing decision, or on a dividend principle. And he says that if there's one slide that he wants us to remember, it's this slide. So later, in fact, I also reference this in one of my later sessions notes. So this is session 1 note, but let's say if I want to now reference it, or if I just want to see where all I referenced this particular note. So I'm just going to click Command U and I just want to type that. And now let me see. So I have 2 references for this. All right. So there's one reference from session 1, and let me find another reference. There is another reference from session 1 itself. So maybe block references are not quite coded over here, but let's say if I were to actually quote it in session 4, which is just closing the books on corporate endgame, and I want to just remember this entire idea, and the main slide is over here of first principles. What I'm going to do now is I just want to type in maximize, or what is it, the 3 principles, right? So maximize the value plus 3 principles. Now I've just referenced that. And now what I can do is every time I make an edit over here in the session 1 notes, I'm automatically also making an edit over here, because this is a block reference. And that is also another beautiful feature of Rome that I don't think many people know about. And many people just therefore choose Obsidian or some other Rome research alternative like Remnote and so on and so forth. But this particular feature is something that just makes Rome a lot more better and a lot more user-friendly, which is not quite there in a lot of other apps. So that is something to note. And so let's say if I were to just change investment principle, this is a test change. I'm just going to write that over here for now. So now when I actually just click on to this and I want to open it in Sidebar actually. So as you can see, I opened the block that I wanted to reference, and the change is actually made right over here. This is the test change. So I can actually make a change in one block, which is actually just in a different notebook for all practical purposes, or on a different page for a physical equivalent. I can actually make a change in that particular notebook from another place. And that is the magic of Rome research. So yeah, I just wanted to take you through a few sort of beautiful, magical features of Rome research and why it's such a wonderful tool, and why I highly recommend it for any knowledge worker, any note taker, any researcher, or just someone who is just curious about learning in a more productive, more engaged manner. So that was what this video was entirely about. Thanks for watching, and let me know how you feel about it.